Okay, last part in this section of I went to Joann's and accidentally bought linen fabric and flocked fabric. So, when I bought the 4 yards, I did this in preparation for doing a pair of shorts along with it. So, I started out by doing the shorts because I figured if I screwed up, this would be the best spot to do it in, because it's shorts and requires a little less material. So this pattern called for 1.5 yards of material, of the 60-inch wide. It does have these gigantic pleats down the front, which are kind of awesome. They are very this pant and shorts combination is very much reminiscent of what I think of when I think of 1940s sailor influence. Yes, it took 1.5 yards of material. They describe it as semi-fit sailor style pants. The only issue I have with them is they don't have pockets, and because of how fitted they are through the hips, I would not recommend putting pockets on them, unless you're doing like a patch pocket on the back. But yes, it calls for 8 1 1/8-inch buttons, and I did find them. I was lucky that when I went in to find them, there was a sale going on where if you bought 3, you got 2 free. So I ended up getting all the buttons I needed for less than I was expecting to pay. I'm really not sure what else to say. I did enjoy using this pattern. It was very easy to follow once you got into it. You do have to make sure to independently finish all your seams because they do not remind you after a while. They just expect you to kind of know that you need to finish all of your seams. But that is a problem that I've run into with a lot of these patterns, is they just kind of expect you to know. And sometimes you just yes, so if you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave it down below. This pattern is rather easy to work with. It is one of their newer patterns. This Vogue pattern, I think it came out last fall. But, so, yes, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to leave them down below. I will try to answer them as much as I can. And I think that's all. So I hope you have a lovely day. I will see you all next time. Bye. Okay, first off, good morning. But here I am getting ready to start the shorts. As you can see, they are short. So what I'm doing here is just setting up for doing the dart. So one of the things I did was mark the front of the fabric. Because this is a linen, it can, you can forget which is the front and which is the back, because front of the fabric, back of the fabric, because it is a solid color and it is hard to tell the difference between the front. So I am doing my pin method to do these darts, which is you stick a pin in the hole, then you can take away the pattern, and then you can mark the pin, and then you connect the dots. It's basically the best way I can describe it. But yes, so then you would sew those darts down. Well, first off, I started doing these shorts because I wanted to do a test run before I did the full shorts, or the full pants, so I didn't waste fabric. And I think I did a good job for that reason. So once I've got these pinned, then I will start, I believe, working on the, after I've sewn these, but I will start working on the front of the fabric. No, the front of the shorts. Oops, sorry. So I am getting ready to sew up the pins button seam. No, this is the crotch seam. So this is the part that goes between your legs. So what I did here was I wanted to finish these rather well so that they would hold, because I've had the issue of the pants not holding this seam, and then it kind of makes it unwearable if the fabric is cut short enough. So what I did this time was I sewed 5/8 of an inch in, and then I turned it by hand and then zigzagged along that edge just to hold it. So here I am getting ready to put in the front fly, basically. So this is where all the buttons will go. So how I did this was I finished off the interior edge of this part, and then I sewed 5/8 of an inch up, around, and back down on the other side. I also made sure to reinforce this edge along the front so that it would hold while I did this. I will say, working with pants or even shorts, you have a lot of material that is there and can get in the way, so you just have to pay attention to what you're doing. Here I am getting ready to prepare the front placket. This is where the buttons will sit. So once that is sewn, I do believe I lost some footage there, but oh well. Once that is sewn, then you will, you will pin and sew this under, and then I do believe it might be time for, well, it's not time to do the pleat in the front, but I do think it's time to sew up the sides. Yes, and I did French seams on these. What I did was I French seamed this, and then I pressed it towards the back, and then I did a second line of stitching downward. The only reason I was able to do this second line of stitching was because this is, shorts. Pants I could not fit through my machine, so there is that. I might go back through and hand sew these down, just with like a running stitch, because I like the effect it has. And it does give it some reinforcement there. Helps hold all the seamage the way you want it to. I will say that if you're wearing linen or working with linen, you do have to press it. So here I am prepping the back facing. 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Press open, finish the bottom edge, which is the edge further away from you at the moment. How I do that is seam 1/4 of an inch away, and then zigzag over the edge. It just holds everything in place and keeps it from fraying out of control. And this is linen, and linen likes to fray. Well, most fabric likes to fray. It seems to be their part-time hobby or something. Yes, so how you finish this is 5/8 inch seam allowance, press under stitch, which is sew the seam allowance to the interface piece, and then once you've done that, then you can turn it back under and finish the front seam, so you can have the placket turned over, and then you can finish off the placket seamage. You can finish off a lot of the other seamage that hasn't been finished off yet, and then you do the giant dart in the front, which is just matching up the edges and sewing all of that into what it needs to be turned into. Here I'm still wrangling with the back facing. You will end up tacking this down to the seam allowance at the side seams, just to try and hold it in place a little bit better. I will say that after you wash these, you will need to press them again because they will have lost their crisp edge and their crisp finish, but once you've pressed it with a little bit of steam, everything will lay back down the way it should. but that's linen for you. I haven't worked with denim on this one yet, so I don't know. I haven't worked with any of the other fabrics, but I will at some point try it out because I like how these fit. They fit really nicely around the waist, which you will see at the end. So yes, you will see me wearing these with stockings because I hate my knees, but during the summer, if it gets above 80, I will probably just wear these as in itself. The fabric, while not sheer, is very breathable, which will allow me to be rather cool and comfortable as opposed to hot, sweaty, and kind of miserable. You know, polyester in the summer. Overall, this is a rather easy pattern to follow. I do advise doing the shorts first, simply because if you don't and they don't fit well, then you're kind of SOL and you will have wasted 2.5 yards of material. Once you've got everything tucked into place, you will do the buttonholes and sew down the buttons and have a pair of shorts. So here are my shorts. I did them with these wooden, like blackish buttons, and I think they turned out really nice. They fit well, they don't pull. I'm not getting the weird crotch. It is kind of weird because these are sailor shorts. As you can see, they are a little bit sheer in the lighting, but